Who wants to go?
Okay, go.
All right. Okay.
If you're going in this order.
So I also went back to my usual platform this week. So I'm bringing you a Commodore 64 game.
Yay.
And this has been out already a couple of months from Vector 5 Games, one of my favorite releases of Commodore 64 games.
Wow, he's chunk. It's like, does he make a game every 10 days or something? I feel there's like almost every time there's a Vector 5 games game.
Well, time flies. I think it's maybe 2-3 games a year or something like that. Not that often.
Well,
but also, unlike my usual, I decided to bring this game, even though it is actually a port of an older game that was made for Commodore Amiga in 1985 by Art Skiles. Anyway, the game is called Drip, and it's available on itch.io as typical for Vector 5 games, as a name your own price game. So usually I'm not really that interested in ports, but I didn't know this game at all, to be honest. I haven't played it before. I didn't know it existed. And so if you didn't say so, it's also very clearly mentioned within the game that this is from the startup screen. It tells you it's a port of an older game. Otherwise I would not have known, honestly. But well, let's talk about the game. So it's a arcade painter kind of game. So not sure if this is a real official way of calling these games, but I would call a painter game that kind of game where your purpose is to fully paint a set of surfaces by just passing over them, typically. And most often than not, this surface is like a grid. So you have to walk around the grid, usually avoiding enemies. And as you walk around the grid, you paint it. And when you paint all of it, then you beat the level and move on.
Okay, so you did review another game very similar to this, like Brush Brothers or something like that for the CPC, wouldn't you?
I think that was a platformer, right?
No, it was the same. You had to walk and it would color the platforms.
Yeah, that is, well, it's different, but still I would call that one a painter game as well. Yes.
Yeah.
So in this case, you don't have platforms to jump on. In Drip, there are pipes. So it looks a little bit like those couple of good old Commodore 64 games known as Pipeline. Pipeline 2.
Yeah. Or Pipe Dream.
But it's different. It's a different game. Those aren't actually painter games. All right, so basically the story of this game, so to speak, is that you are a drop, a pretty cool drop because you wear sunglasses.
A drop of water. Let's be precise, because I think
drop of water.
It might be.
It might mean something else. Yes, you're right. So a drop of water. You're a sentient, cool drop of water wearing sunglasses.
Yeah.
And who likes turning metallic pipes into rust. That's your painting narrative. You're not really painting, you're rusting the pipes. So in each level you have these interconnected pipes or tubes that you have to move along these, and as you move you rust them or paint them. And in this game your movement is like fully inertial, so you just push a little bit the joystick in a direction and then you keep moving in that direction. You don't have to keep it pressed. So
it moves to the next checkpoint, let's say, to the next bit automatically. You just press it once.
Well, no, actually you move until you move as far as you can move until the end of the pipe in that direction, then you stop. Or you can just push slightly. If you want to change your direction, you can push slightly in that direction when there's an intersection.
So basically Pac-Man.
Yeah, kind of the same movement.
We took like 5 hours to describe Pac-Man. That's so funny. You're pushing that
Well,
direction.
I didn't have it in mind right now.
Lovely.
That Pac-Man, it's also inertial, right? Okay, so you have to do it while avoiding some enemies that also move along the pipes. And there are also some less obvious obstacles called hazards in this game, which also kill you if you stumble upon them. They're not enemies, they just they could be drops of water, they could be something else. I'll tell you in a minute. And but basically non-creatures, and those don't move on the pipes, but they rather come out of a pipe, move like in the space between pipes, and then disappear on the other side. And these are actually a little bit more tricky because of that, since you're not exactly moving in the same place as they are, but you still can get hit if you pass close by when they come out of the pipe.
Wow, it sounds complicated. I'm sure
Already?
it's not. Yeah.
I've only told you the first two things of this game. It can't be complicated already. It's much simpler than last week's game. Okay, so it's not a puzzle. You don't have to think. You only have to be very careful. I think this game is. Well, I'm gonna tell you later what I think about the level of challenge of this game, but it is pretty challenging. But you don't really have to think that much. You have to keep your eyes open, be aware of the monsters that are moving around, and especially these other hazards, because you tend to think of the ones but not the others, and that's where you really get in trouble with this game. Otherwise, it's supposed to be kind of relaxing. It's actually not even a very long game, 15 levels. You get a few different themes or area types. So there are some ice levels with the snowball monsters, and not quite sure what are those hazards that you have to avoid that look like squares, maybe ice cubes, something like that. Then you get an acid themed level with flasks looking monster and acid drops that fall down the pipes. A fire theme on other levels, fireball monster and little flames that now they float upwards. And finally there's a bacteria themed level, so the monsters, and they're obviously like germs or something like that.
Are you supposed to clean them because you're water?
No, I think you're just supposed to rust all the pipes, and the other things just happen to leave
like
there.
Like normal water does.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, okay, so now to the complications. There are always some complications in the games I like.
Right.
So pretty much every level also has a small number of pipes that are detached from the others. So you cannot really reach them normally by moving. And to reach those, if you press the fire button, you actually drop down from the pipe you are at to the next pipeline below.
Okay, so this is not like Pac-Man anymore now.
No. And
also, if Pac-Man with a jump.
It's not exactly jumping. It's really literally dropping down the next. But if you fall down from the bottommost pipeline, you actually reappear on the top of the level, and then you can reach the top level.
So it wraps around.
It wraps around, yes. So this is your main way to reach those few detached pipes that you still have to rust, but otherwise you wouldn't just get there by moving. And then to make things a bit more difficult, well, first of all, there is a timer, although I never reached the timeout, to be honest.
Okay.
So I think this works more positively because at the end of each level, you get bonus lives depending on the remaining time. But it was never so short that it made me fail a level. I always failed a level and lost a life by hitting the monsters. And the last complication is that every now and then there's a cloud that appears occasionally and floats left to right or right to left on the screen, and as it passes through the pipes it clears them, and then you have to do your work once again on them.
It's unrust. It's not, maybe it's not a cloud, it's one of those how do you say,
Spray?
things that they're the, I don't know, I know in Italian pagliette, I don't know, they go over and they remove all the rust.
That could be it. Yeah. So this is not that annoying, to be honest, because you can also just seek for it and hit it with yourself, and then it would just disappear. So, but it can be a small complication anyway. And you also had something that helps you in these levels. There are stars flowing around, or maybe they look a little bit more like balloons shaped like stars. They float, slowly move left to right or vice versa on the screen. They're very easy to catch, and if you catch them, they give you a few seconds when you can hit the monsters instead of being hit. So they work a little bit like the Pac-Man power pills.
Yes. Yeah. Pac-Man again, yeah.
But then, okay, this helps you with the monsters, but not with those hazards like the drops or the fires. For that, instead, you can catch some bubbles that sometimes appear from the bottom, and they float towards the top of the screen. And these move more quickly. They're not so easy to catch because sometimes you are on the other side of the screen. There's a long route to get them, and not that easy to catch these bubbles. But if you catch a bubble, then you are in a bubble. You are in that bubble for a few seconds, and then you can move anywhere on the screen outside the pipes.
Oh, cool! What happens if you?
Pipes.
That looks a bit like bubble when you're stuck in the bubble.
Graphically, yes.
Yeah.
So then you're really not bound to the pipes. You can move everywhere in the screen. And this is another way you can reach those standalone pipes, even though it's not that easy, because then you keep moving because of the inertia. So you kind of need to aim for those standalone pipes as you change direction. It's not that easy to
you don't get
them this way.
Stuck to the pipes. So you have to float over the pipes.
You totally float freely in the screen. And also you have to be careful, because now while you are in the bubble, you're now immune to those hazards, but not to the monsters. So it can be a bit confusing. And I think this is especially the challenge of this game, that you can actually move quite fast. So sometimes you're definitely faster than the monsters, for example.
Yeah, it looks very smooth.
But sometimes this movement works against you, because you have to pay attention to the monsters and the hazards coming out. They just come out over and over the same place where they move. So they're very repetitive, but it's not that easy to keep everything under control as you move this fast in the levels. And so I found the game reasonably challenging.
Hang on a minute. I've got a question. So when you're in the bubble, right, and the bubble at a certain point goes away, or you've always got the bubble?
No, it goes away after maybe 10 seconds or so.
And so what happens if you are in the middle of the air?
I think it would just pop as soon as you are on top of a valid pipe.
Okay, that's how they do it.
And you can't, when you are in the bubble, you still move inertially, so you can't really stay in the empty spaces for long.
Okay.
Yeah, you always land. I'm not 100% sure. It might be that it does pop and then you drop on the nearest pipe below or something like that. But it is so fast that I'm not even sure how that mechanic works. Usually, I just at some point you just notice it popped and you are back to the grid of pipes. So as I said, it's not a complicated game, but it's not easy. even though it is actually pretty generous with lives, I think you start with 5 lives. Well, you die on a hit. There's no energy bar or anything. But you also earn a lot of bonus lives. For instance, so there's this there's the timer going down from 3,000 units, and every 1,000 unit left is a bonus life. So if you end with more than 1,000, you get a bonus life. If you end with more than 2,000, you earn 2 bonus lives.
Oh wow! Okay, that's an interesting way of doing it. I don't think I've seen that before.
But you do lose plenty of lives when you play, because it's difficult to, in my opinion, to really float this fast everywhere and avoiding everything. And if those are not enough, also every 3 levels there's a bonus level, which is a bit trivial. You see the images of those 4 enemies on the screen, very big, and there's a water balloon that just moves quickly downwards, and if you press the button you make it explode, and if you hit with the water balloon one of these 4, you earn a bonus life, and you actually have 4 chances. So every 3 levels there is this bonus level, and you can win up to 4 bonus lives. There's really plenty.
Okay.
So did you beat this game?
Actually, I did not, even though it's only 15 levels, if I remember right. But I got close, but I didn't win them all in one go. So I still have to try.
I wonder if the game loops when it's done, or if it's and gets harder like the classic arcade games, or if it's just.
I think it doesn't. It doesn't get harder because you actually have a choice of difficulty at the beginning.
Okay.
So there's an easy, medium, hard. And I think the levels and the number of monsters are the same, but one difference is the speed. So, and the other difference is actually the timer. So you get a bigger timer. And once again, I never reached 0 with the timer, but that means more bonus lives or less bonus lives if you use the hard mode.
Okay.
All right, but
looks like a proper high score game for maybe a high score challenge.
Yeah, we need to write these down because we always get to the summertime and we're like, oh, what are we gonna play? What are we gonna play? Oh, we need to write them down as we play.
Yeah, but this is a good one, I guess. Especially if you put it on hard mode, so it doesn't endlessly go. Especially for picks, I guess, or else you will loop the game 100 times. But if you're faster, you also get more score, but also more life. So it could be an interesting balance.
Right. So as I said, in my opinion, this is a simple game, no puzzle, not this time, and
sort of is a puzzle.
But it's
sort of is a puzzle, isn't it?
Yeah, every game is a puzzle game.
Well,
this is not a puzzle. This is just Pac-Man with some extras. Pac-Man isn't a puzzle game.
Yeah. You don't really have to think much. You just have to be aware, keep your eyes open, keep your hand on the joystick, and go with the flow of the game. Not much to think, really. But I think it's fun.
People, just keep your hands on the joystick.
Yes,
the hands on
but
I
think it was fun.
Another title.
It has a very good pace, in my opinion, and it plays really well. It's really well done. It moves very smoothly and everything. So there's a nice typical Commodore music. Now I forgot who is the author of the music. Sorry.
It's all right, just look it up.
Can't remember it right now. I forgot to write it down. Sorry, but anyways,
no.
I'm trying to.
It doesn't credit on the itch either, so on the
no, but it does at the beginning, at the title screen. Of course, it does. Let's see if the video has it.
Title music: Richard Bayliss.
Richard Bailey's.
Yes.
Are you sure? I'm not getting it. Where are you getting it?
I have a video here on
Okay.
Title music.
Okay,
Richard Bayless.
let's Richard. Okay, so I can say it. So you get a nice title music designed by Richard Bayless, which is very, very typical Commodore 64 music and plays really nice. And that's it. Not much else to say, but just another very, very good game from Vector 5.
Only music on the title screen and not during gameplay.
I need to check because I don't remember. I need to check. There is music during the gameplay, but is it maybe different?
I can hear it.
It's very good music.
Okay,
I like it.
now I found it.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, there is also music during the gameplay, but it's not the same as the one in the intro. So maybe it's less inspired, perhaps. But there is also background music during the game, if that's what you mean.
Cool. Well, I like the looks of it. It's simple, but we both brought simple, but
it is simple. But in my opinion, it really fits with classic Commodore 64 games. In my opinion,
it looks like an arcade conversion or something, but it isn't.
Could have been, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, in modern times, we've seen very complex games for Commodore 64, but I still feel that this 8-bit computer shines with these kind of games. Simpler, but very, very effective at keeping you engaged and lots of fun. And it also looks pretty good, in my opinion.
Yeah, we've seen a few of these simple games like Roadcraft we talked about last time. The concept was very simple as well, but very engaging and very keeps you going, doesn't it? Just good gameplay.
And also what I like, I don't see any brown on the screenshot.
That's right.
No browns.
It's good color palette.